Taika Waititi directs, produces, and plays Blackbeard in the new comedy series Our Flag Means Death. I'm Matt Noah from Gold Derby, and I want to kick things off by asking you, Taika, what's the best thing about playing a pirate?
Nothing. Pirates wouldn't be my first choice of thing to play. I've never been passionate about pirates. It's never been a thing that was on my list of like, I have to play a pirate before I die. It was just, that was part of the job, really. If anything, I associate pirates with the kind of less cool costume parties. When I was growing up, pirate would be like the bottom of the barrel. Like you'd be like, well, I guess I'll just go as a pirate if I can't afford any other costume. The pirate's pretty easy to do. Just get a little bit of your mum's eyeliner, you do a little scar down on your cheek, like that, and then you do a little moustache, if you haven't got one already. And I mean, I'm wasting your 20 minutes by describing how to make a pirate costume, but if that's cool, I'll just keep going.
People love these tutorials on YouTube. People love checking it out.
Yeah.
Whack an eye patch on, easy. What?
Scrappy shirt, maybe.
So, did you enjoy playing Blackbeard?
Yeah.
Okay. But what did you enjoy about Blackbeard?
He's not really a pirate in the show. He's more like a grizzled old biker. And in fact, when you think about it, the pirates aren't really pirates. That's the cool thing about the show. It's about pirates, but it's not really about pirates, is it? It's a love story about two guys who happen to be on boats.
And in that story, I don't disagree. And in that love story about the guys who happen to be on boats, your character Blackbeard and Steed learn a lot from each other because you come from very different worlds, and you come.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, just do you want to talk about that growth that your character goes over the season?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm at the end of my career, and so's the character. But the character, he's kind of he's done it all. He's been a successful pirate. He's at the end. He's kind of, there's nothing he hasn't tried. And he's become jaded and numb to it all. And then he meets this guy who, on the outside, sort of like this naive, maybe an idiot who doesn't know anything about sailing or pirating. And he finds him fascinating. Blackbeard finds Steed fascinating. There's a guy who uplift his whole life, upend his whole life as a well-to-do, wealthy landowner who had everything, and he was rich, and he had a family, and he gave it all away to go and become a pirate. And I think that Blackbeard is like, this is something new and fresh and something interesting that I've never experienced before. So that's what kind of captivates him. And same with Steed. It's like, he's someone who's never had any adventures in his life, and then meets the king of all the adventurers and the king of the pirates, who's Blackbeard.
And your character actually says how, in one of the episodes, how hard it is to find something that's different around here. And I was wondering, for you, someone who's done a lot of work in storytelling in the past, what's something that you found that was different about this show?
I think it was, the pirate thing aside, just like, I've always wanted to do something that was like a period piece. And, so I just always found that interesting. And also I just love the idea of shooting something on a big boat and building a boat and doing it, because I love Master and Commander, Russell's film, and I've watched that quite a lot. And so, I love that the romance of that era really interested me. But more than anything, I think it was the love story. Just the idea of something I'd never seen, like a love story between two male pirates, and also a comedy, and treated in such a way that it's like a workplace comedy, and everything that goes with that. And also another really important part of it for me was just the fact that it was giving a voice to these characters who are well deep in the LGBTQ plus community, and it gave a voice, and it made a lot of people the present community feel seen and heard. And so it was really lovely to do something that was fun and silly. It's about pirates, but also it was really about representation as well.
Yeah, and like, I guess, how do you approach a show when, like, as you've touched on there's so many, like, there's really poignant communities you're speaking to and messages, and really, it's really heartfelt in a lot of ways, this show, while at the same time it's part workplace comedy, almost part cartoon. Like in the series finally, you almost, like, you pretty much drop a piano on someone. So like, how do you juggle all those different tones and styles?
Well, I mean, the world of the pirates is so ridiculous and over the top anyway. So you've got to like find ways of grounding the show from time to time, and I think you do that with like quite real emotional arcs for the characters, and also you're looking at things like it's basically a show about midlife crises. So it's like everyone in the show is like trying to figure out what they're trying to do, and it's made by people who are in the middle of midlife crises. So we're all kind of like dealing with these issues that most people in today's society are dealing with, where people are waking up and going, wow, I'm now in my 40s. What is this it? Did I choose the right path? And that's what Reese's character does. He basically wakes up and goes, it's now or never. I want to, and that takes some balls. It's like a lot of courage to decide to like chase your dream. And what does that mean? Like, who do you end up hurting in the process, and things like that. So so I guess that's another part of the of what attracted me to the show when David came to me.
Is there something you could relate to, Taika, that idea of wanting to chase your dream, and like there's something you just ambitious?
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
for sure. But I mean, like, filmmaking was never really my dream. It's something I came to late. But I'd like to think I've done pretty well for myself. I'm in a pretty good position, and I'm really enjoying the work that I do. But now and then I do, wonder, I sort of wake up and go, oh, was really the right path? What if there's something else out there that I missed? What if I was supposed to make ceramics? And that was my true calling, and I don't want to wake up at 90 and go, damn it was ceramics. And then I've wasted all that time. So, often I think a lot of people, when you work too hard as well, that happens to a lot of us.
Yeah. And do you like, I think you have done fairly well for yourself, Taika. Some great. Yeah, no, I think you have done very well. Some lovely films, some lovely television shows, and we're an awards website, Gold Derby, and from the Oscars. Last time you and I spoke, you were on the campaign trail for Jojo Rabbit, and since then you have won the Academy Award. First Maori to win an Oscar, and first Indigenous person to win an Oscar in that category for adapted screenplay. What did that Oscar win mean for you?
Well, it's like, you like to tell yourself in the lead up to that even if you don't win, it's still all worth it, and that you're just proud of the fact that you finished a film, and it was never about awards. But then when you win one, you're also like, this is pretty validating, and it makes you feel like you're like, well, maybe it was all worth it, and maybe it is all about awards. But obviously it's not. But it's just like, I think for me and like for my community and for Māori kids back home to see one of our own winning these very special awards, I think is one of the biggest things for me. It's like the idea that can inspire someone younger to be able to, sounds so cheesy, but like, to go and chase their dream, or to want to do something that maybe is also out of their comfort zone. Like when I was growing up, there weren't any other jobs. There weren't any, like, outside of the 4 different vocations you could have growing up in a small town in New Zealand. No one ever thought of being an actor. Like, you wouldn't even entertain the idea. You wouldn't waste your time. And now it's something that every kid says, they want to do. They want to be a dancer or an actor. They want to make films. and they're supported. And so that's a huge change. And that's just been happening in the last few years.
And obviously, that Oscars for your work in film, and in that speech that you gave, you referred to Indigenous people as the original storytellers. And I'm just wondering, working in television with Our Flag Means Death, but also Reservation Dogs and What We Do in the Shadows, what do you think the power is of television series as a storytelling medium?
I think in a lot of ways it can be more powerful. It's you got a longer time to work on the character arcs. You can have characters. The great thing about television is you can fall in love with the character for so long, and then they can turn out to be the villain, and then they can actually redeem themselves and come back, and you can do that over 3 or 4 seasons. And I think the roller coaster ride is longer and maybe slower in television, but it feels like the thrills are more exciting. And I think that really for that reason, like, you get invested more and you care more about the characters. And I was just watched Severance, which I thought, just finished that, which I thought was brilliant. And Ben and everyone did such an amazing job of that. And I thought, oh man, if this was a movie, it wouldn't quite be the same. I wouldn't be as satisfied with everything that was happening, and just because of that slow burn.
And with Our Flag Means Death, you directed the first episode. You're in, you play Blackbeard in most of the rest. What was there any fuckery on set?
I didn't really get to hang out with anyone because I was in this big beard, and I was in the big wig and all the leather clothes and stuff, and it was so hot. We were shooting in summer, so it was so boiling hot. I would just go and sit in this tent with an air conditioning unit and just basically lean into this air conditioning unit. And I couldn't really, it was so loud that I couldn't really talk to anyone. So maybe they were fucking with me. Yeah. But to make me so uncomfortable that I was always in a bad mood, because the character's supposed to be over it and in a bad mood and grumpy and uncomfortable with life. And that's kind of how I felt the whole time. So maybe the whole thing was just a practical joke on me.
Yeah. If there was any fuckery, it was you were the subject of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you have a favorite moment, or what do you think the funniest moment of the season was?
Well, I really loved all the stuff when we were on the bushwalk and with the snake and stuff. I mean, that was actually one of the most uncomfortable days I've ever had working and doing anything. I was just sweating underneath that big Mad Max costume, and this one with the wig and the beard, and it was just a little hot box in there. But I saw a lot of fun with all, just having a little campsite moment there, eating a snake and killing the snake. But anytime that I was with Reese was fun, because we would just we crack each other up, and those times that we both would get to riff together. And some of the more fun moments where we just went overboard with the improvising probably didn't make it into the show for good reason. It just goes on and it's about nothing. But they definitely are. Yeah, those are the real fun times I have on set.
With Edward, Blackbeard, and Steed learn a lot from each other because they come from such different worlds. What do you think you and Reese taught each other from working together in this series?
To trust each other, I think, and to trust in trust that it's okay to embrace the drama. And I think a lot of comedians, because we're so kind of afraid of being earnest and afraid of our actual real feelings, tend to shy away from dramatic moments and things, and what's called sentimental moments. And we really had to support each other during this, where because I think we both gave very nice performances in the dramatic stuff and the romantic stuff and the emotional beats. But it's you also need someone, the person that you're acting against, to be there for you and to support you, because we're both comedians, and it's not necessarily our strongest suit is the old drama, the old cry acting. Having having one another to support each other was actually kind of made it a lot easier to get through that stuff.
Can you think of a particular moment where you had to trust in each other that was particularly
I mean, the
challenging?
bathtub moment, the moment where I'm like breaking down and revealing my fears and the layers beneath that, and then he had to do, it was a really beautiful moment. I thought, I kind of feel like that moment even more than the kiss was probably the moment where we really connected and realized that, we were there for each other. And then the kiss on the beach is like another moment that I think is pretty strong. And also, I'm really proud that we actually managed to do that in the first season and didn't drag it out and like hold off on this moment like X-Files or something, just forever. It was good to just say, this is the show we're making.
Now, in the first episode of the series that you directed, Steed gets a flag designing competition going to, cut the head off or block off the steam of any mutiny brewing and boost a bit of crew morale. Taika, if you had to design a flag for a ship, what would you want on your design?
I'd probably have Bruce Springsteen, the General Lee, that's the car. Anything from the 80s that I loved, just like stuff from TV. It would be a big, giant collage. It'll be very, very colorful.
Yeah, a busy flag.
Very busy.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, that sounds very good. You might see mine here, Taika.
Yeah, I can.
So on the show, there's one. You've got one with a skull vomiting buttons. My one is a button vomiting skulls.
Oh, now I see it. Yes, it is. Or it's a mutant Pac-Man who's eating little tiny plankton.
Yeah.
Or tiny ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. So there you go. However you want to interpret it. Up to the.
I'm going to interpret it that way. I prefer that it's a four-eyed giant Pac-Man eating tiny miniature little ghosts.
I love it. What do you think is special about this story of Our Flag Means Death, or what do you think the magic is of this show?
I think the magic of it is that it's, like some people say, oh, it's a romantic comedy. It's really, for me, is a romance. It's like a straight up romance because it plays a lot, sometimes for me, like as a drama as well. And I think it plays really successfully as that. I think it's a romance with a lot of really fun moments and a lot of jokes. But it also deals with and questions that what it means to be a man. And one of the things that I think is really special about the show is that when it comes to the gay content, none of the characters like make a big deal out of it. And we're not trying to bash it over anyone's head. We're not trying to like make a statement. There's no like time when anyone monologues about, what it's like to be different. And, things which feel very obvious in a lot of contemporary shows, where it's like, oh, you've got to have someone like do the speech. In this show, it's just accepted. And, we've created a world where to be gay or bi is just completely accepted, and that's just the way it is. It doesn't matter if someone's a villain or a good guy, and it's just sort of brushed off, and people just sort of mention it as if we're in high school. It's like, oh, so and so are hooking up. Wow, didn't see that coming. But nothing about them, being same sex.
Yeah,
and I think that's great. It normalizes it. It actually like creates a world where it's so normal, and it's sort of like almost like aspirational. I think, we could get to that person today where no one actually gives a shit. It's amazing.
Yeah. And just quickly to wrap, Taika, you've got Flag Means Death, Reservation Dogs, and What We Do in the Shadows. 3 shows that you all have sort of various sort of like fingers in. What is that like, sort of having sort of a television landscape where you've got 3 of the shows in different?
It's great. It's great, it's so I never really thought I'd have a huge involvement in television, but it's now become like one of my preferred and more enjoyable mediums because, I've being introduced to a world where also the other great thing is I get to work with more directors and more producers and more, I get to I don't have to direct everything, which is a super stressful thing to have to do. Like when you're attached to a film and you're working basically nonstop for 2 or 3 years on one thing with just the same characters. I can now spread myself around all these different shows and give some input, but also create opportunities for other artists and be exposed to other artists and their stories and their voices. So it kind of makes sort of like the benefit for me is that it enriches my it enriches me, my brain, and my it makes me want to be more creative and
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Taika, that's my 20 minutes. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. People watching this interview can go to goldderby.com to make their own awards predictions and watch other interviews with award contenders. Taika, all the best of luck with the upcoming Emmy Awards. And
don't put any other interviews up, just mine.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll see.
Guys, if you guys go and watch at Gold Derby, you're only going to find my interview. That's it.
Yeah. Watch Taika's, watch Vika's from our Blackbeard Steph as well. And that's all you need to do.
Taika, only things to do with pirates.
Yeah. Devery Jacobs from Reservation Dogs. Maybe check out that one as well. But Taika, thank you so much for the time. All the best of luck with the Emmy Awards and all the best of luck with the ceramic classes.
Thank you so much, sir.